Hello everyone, so we are from Group 4 of Principle of Economics and we're going to present our topic about inflation. For this topic of inflation, you guys will be learning about what is inflation and why does it matter in Malaysia today. And also you will be learning about macroeconomics concepts, causes of inflation and impacts on inflation. So hey, you guys must be wondering, right, that if you go to the grocery store or pay for your lunch today, does it feel like your money just evaporates? We keep on hearing the news that inflation in Malaysia is low, officially around 1.5% to 2.3% right now. But if inflation is really low, why do we feel broke? So that is what I'm going to explain to you about inflation. So inflation is the rate at which the prices of goods and services rise over time. It means your money buys you less today than it did yesterday. So why does this matter in Malaysia right now? Well, this is because the official headline inflation rate has slowed to about 1.3% as of late of 2025. Many of us feel like our wallets are shrinking faster than that. As in Malaysia, we are going through a very huge shift because we're moving away from blanket subsidies like what happened with diesel and the changes coming to RON 95. All of these causes of changes in our price tag of our daily lives, and it's important to know the difference between prices going up and prices staying high. And of course, you guys don't need to be worried because we are going to learn about macroeconomics concepts that will make sure you will understand about inflation. So you guys will be learning about Consumer Price Index, which is CPI, the core and headline inflation, and also the purchasing power, cost of living, and of course, ADAS. Can you guys imagine of the Malaysian shopping trolley which you guys buy lots of your groceries there? And of course, inside the trolley, you will be having the rice, chicken, petrol, your internet bill, and even your rent. And this is what the economists call the CPI, which is Consumer Price Index. And in the CPI, we will be learning about core inflation versus headline inflation. You must be confused how to differentiate the headline inflation and core inflation. So simply put, that headline inflation is like a big picture of numbers. It counts everything in the economy, including the stuff that changes price every week, like petrol or vegetables, which is vegetables can get expensive during monsoon season, as you know, and it will give you a very, very immediate pain in your wallet. As for core inflation, this is like the true trend. It removes the volatile stuff like fresh food and government-controlled prices like fuel and sugar. It tells you if the underlying economy is hitting up because of demand, not just because of bad weather or a temporary oil shock. So, do you think you guys are still confused about this? Moving on to the purchasing power and cost of living. They are not the same thing. Purchasing power is how much stuff your money can buy. When inflation is positive, your purchasing power drops unless your salary increases at the same speed. As for cost of living, it is the total amount of money you need to maintain your lifestyle. Even if inflation drops to 0%, your cost of living remains high because prices rarely go back down. They just stop going up. That is why we still feel the pinch despite low inflation numbers. So you guys must be wondering how the economists visualize this inflation. So they are using ADAS model, which is aggregate demand for AD and aggregate supply for AS. So the aggregate demand, which is AD, that is basically us Malaysians, which is spending their money on going to the malls, traveling, or buy things. If this AD increases, it will pull the prices up, which is causing the inflation happened. As for the aggregate supply, which is AS, this is the POV of the business. So, if the government is removing subsidies, it now costs more for business to transport goods and run the factories or even produce more goods and services. And when the cost of producing the product or services is increasing, then they pass the cost to us, which is why the prices are rising. So that is why both AD and AS plays a very big role in controlling the inflation.
Inflation trend across 3 periods. Before the pandemic, inflation was low and stable, below 2%. In 2020, inflation dropped sharply due to lockdowns and lower fuel prices. After the economy reopened, inflation rose to about 2.5% in 2021 and peaked at around 3.4% in 2022, mainly due to higher food and energy prices from 2023 to 2024. Inflation eased to around 1.8 to 2.0% due to government measures and more stable global conditions. Inflation data overview. This slide presents supporting data. The first graph shows change in the overnight policy rate used to control inflation. The second graph shows annual inflation peaking in 2022 and declining afterward. The third graph shows food inflation gradually decreasing, indicating improving price stability.
But why are the prices rising in the first place? To understand this, we have to look at the perfect storm of two major economic forces, demand and supply. First, demand side pressure. As Malaysia economy fully recovered in 2024 and 2025, people started spending again. High employment and wage increase mean more money chasing the same amount of goods. When demand is high, but supply can't keep up, prices naturally climb. This is the classic demand pull inflation. Second, supply side factor. This is the most painful part for Malaysia. We are trading nation, which means we are vulnerable to global shock. The weak ringgit is a major culprit since we import over 70 million worth of food, like onion from India or beef from Australia. A weaker currency makes our grocery expensive before they even hit the shelf. Global supply chain issue and fluctuating oil prices also add to the cost push effect. When it costs more to transport carriage from Cameron Highland to KL, the consumer pays the difference.
Reports show that inflation is affecting Malaysia and the rising cost of living is impacting everyone. The Department of Statistics Malaysia reported that the food and beverages segment, which is 29.8% of the CPI basket, increased by 2.1% in June 2025. This means basic food items like vegetables and chicken are more expensive. The OSM also stated that the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels category rose by 2.0% in April 2025. Because of this, families pay higher bills for electricity, water and rent. Transport costs are also rising due to changes in fuel prices and subsidies, making daily travel and goods delivery more expensive. Inflation also affects businesses. When the prices of ingredients, fuel, utilities, and raw materials increase, companies need more money to operate. This impacts sectors like food services, retail, transport, and manufacturing. Higher production costs may force businesses to raise prices or accept smaller profits. The whole supply chain is affected, and families spend mostly on essentials, reducing demand for non-essential goods. To reduce these pressures, Bank Negara Malaysia and the government use monetary and fiscal measures. For example, BNM cut the overnight policy rate by 0.25% to 2.75% on 9 July 2025. Lower interest rates make borrowing cheaper for households and businesses, helping support spending and investment. In daily life, inflation can be seen through higher grocery bills, rising electricity and housing costs, and more expensive transport due to fuel and subsidy changes. All these factors increase the cost of living for many Malaysian families.
Now we will see how the government policies are actually work. Looking at the data that being provided by the Department of Statistics Malaysia, it states in 2034 the inflation rate in Malaysia is 1.8%. Meanwhile, in 28 July 2035, the Bank Negara Malaysia states that the inflation rate in Malaysia are moderate, which is from 1.5% until 2.3%. There is the decreasing in 0.3% of the inflation rate. Looking at this stable inflation trend, we can see that the government policy are work. Three recommendations for the government to actually help to decrease more and more the inflation rate. The first one is tackling the food production. It is to reduce the dependency on the imported product like a rice from the Thailand. Government can increase the local rice production by helping the farmer in order to maintain their farm. It will eventually help the government to stabilize the price and also the demand and supply for the local production, and also to reduce the inflation rate. Second one is to improve the productivity. We know when we improve the productivity, it will eventually help to reduce the inflation rate. In this modern era, we can use technology like big data analysis and also AI in order to increase the productivity. We know when we increase the productivity, it will actually help to decrease the cost per unit and eventually will lead to the decreasing in inflation rate. Last one is to improve the public transport. We know the public transport in Malaysia is still underdeveloped. A better public transport can reduce the household expenses. It will help the low income group like B40 to avoid buying vehicle, so it will actually lower the pressure and lower the inflation rate. According to Fala J 2034, systematic transportation system will lower the cost per unit that will eventually help to reduce the inflation rate. That is the end of our group presentation. Thank you for listening.